Hi basketball fans, welcome back to the channel. She wasn't supposed to do this. That's the part people keep missing when they replay the clip, when they talk about the moment, when they look at the box score afterward and try to make sense of what happened. This wasn't a star taking over the way stars are expected to. This wasn't a name that had been hyped for weeks leading into the matchup. This was a moment that arrived without warning, and it hit Texas right in the middle of a game they thought they understood. Before we go any further, make sure you like this video if you care about women's college basketball stories that go deeper than highlights, subscribe for more breakdowns like this every single day, and comment below if Agot Makeer caught you off guard in this game the same way she caught Texas off guard. Because once you really understand the context, this moment hits even harder. Texas came into this game with confidence that wasn't manufactured. It was earned. They had battled elite teams, absorbed punches, and proven they could play physical, disciplined basketball on big stages. This was not a team hoping things would break their way. This was a team expecting to control the pace, control the tone, and control the narrative. From the opening possessions, you could feel it. Texas was organized. They were communicating. They were physical without fouling. They were making South Carolina work for every inch of space. And that was exactly the game Texas wanted. A game where possessions mattered, where mistakes were punished, and where experience and preparation would tilt the balance. They had plans for the stars. They had help defense ready. They had confidence in their ability to take away first options and force uncomfortable shots. Everything about the early flow suggested Texas was right where they wanted to be. Agot Makeer was not part of that initial conversation. She wasn't the player Texas fans were worried about in warm-ups. She wasn't the name dominating pregame analysis. She was seen as depth, as rotation, as someone filling minutes rather than commanding them. And that perception shaped everything that followed. To understand why this moment landed the way it did, you have to understand what kind of journey players like Makeer are on. At an elite program, minutes are currency. Nothing is given. Everything is earned. There are veterans, established roles, and expectations that don't bend easily. For players not at the top of the rotation, patience isn't optional. It's survival. Many players never make it through that phase. They fade quietly, or they transfer, or they accept limited ceilings. Makeer didn't do any of that. She stayed ready. She learned the system. She waited without shrinking. And when you watch closely, you can see it even before the moment everyone talks about. Her movement off the ball. Her comfort in traffic. The way she doesn't rush decisions. These are things that don't show up overnight. They're built in practice, in film sessions, in minutes that don't make highlight reels. When she checked into the game, there was no shift in the crowd. No reaction from the Texas bench. It was just another substitution. Texas stayed locked into their coverage, confident in their matchups, confident that nothing unexpected was about to happen. That confidence is what made the next sequence so jarring. The possession didn't look special at first. Texas was set. The spacing was normal. The defense was exactly where it was supposed to be. And then Makeer made her move. Not with hesitation, not with uncertainty, but with clarity. She attacked a window Texas assumed was closed. The defender hesitated for just a fraction of a second, and that was enough. The finish wasn't dramatic, but it was decisive. It had weight to it. The kind of play that doesn't just score points, but changes the emotional temperature of the game. You could see it immediately. On the Texas bench. On the floor. In the way defenders started glancing at each other. That should have been the end of it. One play. A nice moment. But it wasn't. The next time down, Makeer touched the ball again, and this time Texas was ready. Or at least they thought they were. The coverage shifted slightly. The help came earlier. And instead of forcing something, she adjusted. Different angle. Different decision. Same result. That's when disbelief starts to creep in. Because flukes don't repeat themselves like that. Flukes don't come with calm decision-making. Flukes don't force defensive recalibration. What Texas was dealing with now wasn't a lucky break. It was a player who had found the rhythm of the moment. Basketball games at this level often turn on belief more than tactics. Once a player believes they belong in the moment, everything speeds up in the best way. Reads become quicker. Movements become sharper. Fear disappears. You could see that happening in real time with Makeer. Every possession she was involved in felt purposeful. She wasn't forcing the game to come to her. She was letting it unfold and choosing exactly when to strike. Texas, meanwhile, was adjusting on the fly. Matchups changed. Communication got louder. Help defense arrived earlier. But the damage wasn't just on the scoreboard. It was psychological. They had to account for someone they hadn't planned to account for. And when that happens, something else always opens up. This is where depth becomes a weapon instead of a talking point. South Carolina didn't need Makeer to be the star of the game. They needed her to tilt the floor just enough to break Texas' defensive rhythm. And that's exactly what she did. The attention she drew created space. The confidence she played with lifted the energy of everyone around her. For Texas, the frustration wasn't just that they were giving up points. It was that they were being beaten by someone who wasn't supposed to beat them. You could see it in the body language. The extra step taken too late. The hands on hips after the whistle. These are small things, but they tell a bigger story. This moment mattered because it exposed something deeper. It showed that South Carolina's advantage isn't just star power. It's preparation. It's development. It's having players ready for moments before the rest of the world realizes they're capable of handling them. Makeer didn't rise to the occasion by accident. She rose because she'd been trained for it. Under Dawn Staley, opportunities aren't handed out. They're timed. And when the time comes, the expectation is simple: be ready or step aside. Makeer was ready. Not just physically, but mentally. She understood the pace. She understood the stakes. She understood that this wasn't about proving something loudly, but about doing the right thing at the right time. By the time the game moved into its later stages, the tone had shifted. Texas was still competing. Still fighting. But the control they felt early was gone. They were reacting now, not dictating. And in high-level basketball, reaction is always a step behind. For Makeer, this wasn't just a good stretch. It was an announcement. From this point forward, opponents won't ignore her. Film sessions will include her tendencies. Defenses will shade her direction. The margin for surprise is gone. But what she gained in return is far more valuable: trust. Trust from coaches. Trust from teammates. Trust in herself. Moments like this change careers not because of the points scored, but because of what they unlock. Minutes come easier. Confidence compounds. And the game slows down in a way it never did before. Texas will remember this game as one that slipped, not because they weren't good enough, but because they were challenged in a way they didn't anticipate. And those are often the hardest losses to process. She wasn't supposed to do this. But expectations don't decide games. Preparation does. And in this moment, Agot Makeer showed she was more prepared than anyone expected. If you made it this far, like the video, subscribe for more deep dives like this, and comment below whether you think this was Agot Makeer's breakout moment or just the first chapter of something much bigger. Because if Texas was stunned, the rest of the season might be in for a surprise.